Hi everyone, and welcome back to Learning English through news highlights using microlearning. Today, we have a rather interesting and slightly unusual topic to discuss, but don't worry, it's all about learning English in a fun way. We're diving into a conversation inspired by a piece from Slate titled, "There's Only One Part of Sex I'm Interested in, and It Makes No Sense. Let's keep things simple, light, and educational."
That's right, and while the article dives into some mature topics, we're using it as a way to help expand your vocabulary and understanding of English expressions. Now, the central idea is about a person who loves everything leading up to intimacy, like flirting and teasing, but isn't as interested in the actual act of intimacy itself. Let's break this down in simple terms.
Okay, so first, let's explain flirting. Flirting is when you playfully show attraction or interest in someone. For example, giving someone compliments like, "I love the way you smile," or making eye contact with a little smile can be considered flirting. It's not always romantic though, it can also be playful or lighthearted.
Right. And teasing, as mentioned in the article, is similar. Teasing means joking or playing in a gentle way, often to make someone laugh or to create a fun connection. For example, if someone says, "Oh, you always order the same coffee, are you afraid to try something new?" That's a playful tease. Another example of teasing could be saying, "I bet you can't win this game," teasing someone in a friendly challenge.
Exactly. These two actions, flirting and teasing, often build what's called sexual tension, which is another phrase used in the article. Let's break this one down. Tension means a feeling of excitement or anticipation. Adding the word sexual means it's about attraction. Imagine two characters in a movie who keep looking at each other and smiling but don't express their feelings right away. That's building tension. Got it?
Yes. The word foreplay is also mentioned. This is where some cultural differences in language might come into play, so let's approach this carefully. Foreplay means activities people might do together before being physically intimate. For English learners, think of foreplay as a word you'll hear more in romantic or health-related contexts than in casual conversations.
That's an important note. Now, the person in the article says they adore, or love, these parts, flirting, teasing, and foreplay. But they feel confused about why they don't enjoy the actual physical side of intimacy as much. Let's pause here to explain the word adore. It means to love something or someone deeply. But it's often used casually, too. For example, "I adore chocolate" means I really love chocolate.
Or you might hear, "She adores her dog," meaning she loves her dog a lot. It's a warmer, emotional choice of word. Now, let's also look at the phrase, drawing out. The person talks about loving to draw out sexual tension. To draw out means to make something last longer. For instance, if you're enjoying a good movie, you might wish to draw out the time before it ends. Another example, a teacher might ask a lot of questions to draw out their students' opinions.
That's a great point about drawing out. Then there's the word deed, which isn't used often in daily conversation, but when it appears, it's important to understand. A deed is an action or something you do. In the article, it refers to intimacy, but more generally, you might hear it in phrases like, "a good deed," which means a kind action, for example, helping someone carry heavy bags.
Yes, and while this particular article focuses on a very personal topic, it leads to larger points about how people can enjoy different aspects of relationships. This is where the person writing is seeking advice. Advice is when you ask for help or an opinion. For instance, you might ask for advice on learning English, like, "What's the best way to practice?"
Or a friend might ask, "Can you give me advice about finding a job?" And here's a quick grammar tip. When you use this word, it's uncountable. You wouldn't say advices, it's advice whether there's one suggestion or many.
Great tip. Before we wrap up, let's recap the new words and phrases we've covered today. First, we talked about flirting, playfully showing interest in someone. Then we moved to teasing, which is gentle joking. Both can build tension, which is a feeling of excitement or anticipation. Foreplay was next, describing activities before intimacy.
We also highlighted the word adore, which is a strong form of love. The phrase drawing out means to extend or make something last longer. And finally, deed, meaning an action, and advice, which means help or suggestions for a situation. These words and phrases can be used in many contexts, not just romantic ones.
That's right. Keep practicing, and don't be afraid to try using these words when you're speaking or writing in English. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Learning English through News Highlights using Microlearning. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.